Here you can see the difference between a conventional non-pipeline system and a pipeline system. If you can have a look at this, you can see that in a conventional system, until and unless the first instruction finishes, second instruction cannot enter. When first instruction finishes with all the stages, that is fetch, decode, fetch the operand and execution, second instruction will enter. When second instruction finishes, third instruction will enter. So unless one instruction finishes and consumes all the necessary clock cycles within the CPU to finish all the operations, next instruction cannot enter into the CPU. So here, in a conventional non-pipeline system, obviously the time will be equal to number of instructions into time required for each instruction, right? So obviously, conventional non-pipeline system will take a lot of time than pipeline system. In a pipeline system, as you can see here, there are few instructions here in the queue. The first instruction enters into the first segment. Second instruction will wait. The moment first instruction enters into the decode segment, second instruction can enter into the fetch segment. That is, the moment first instruction enters into the second segment, second instruction can enter into the first segment. The moment second instruction enters into the second segment, third instruction can enter into the first segment. Here you can see that the operations are getting overlapped. Okay, pipeline system is giving you a flexibility of overlapping the different operations at the same time, because each segment is going to carry out an operation, a different operation, in parallel to the other segments, which also carries out different operations. So at any point of period, the pipeline is going to hold 4 instructions at a time, because I have a 4 segmented pipeline. Each segment, one instruction can be there at any point of period. So a number of 4 instructions can be in a pipeline system, which means speed up will be equal to 4. Earlier, in a non-pipeline system, only one instruction can be there in a CPU. But now we can hold and execute 4 instructions. Okay, so this is the reason why speed up is increasing to 4. Speed up can be a maximum of the maximum of segments, right? Okay, speed up is a maximum of 4 here, because the maximum of segments is equal to the maximum number of segments is equal to 4 rather. Okay, here you can see a flow chart based on the pipeline that we have designed. There are 4 segments, as you can see. First segment will fetch, second segment will decode, third segment will fetch the operand, fourth segment will execute the instruction. Okay, now after the second segment, if the decoded instruction is a branch instruction, once after the instruction is decoded, the decoded instruction may be a branch instruction. You know what is a branch instruction? During the branch instruction, we branch to subroutine, right? So at that time, PC will get updated. PC will be updated to the first instruction's address of the subroutine. So we will update the PC, and then PC will be, next instruction will be fetched and decoded and fetch the operand execution. Now, in order to keep the things simple, we will consider that this is not a branch instruction. Okay, first instruction is fetched, decoded. After decoding, instruction must be, provided with the operands. That is, operands must be fetched and executed. So meanwhile, you can see the moment one instruction goes to the other stage, one more instruction can enter into that specific stage. This is how a pipeline system works better than a non-pipeline system. Here, you can see a space-time diagram. A table is given, which is called a space-time diagram. We will come back to this space-time diagram in a short while to understand this. Here you can see this. Instruction queue will be there. Once again, I'm telling you, try to understand. Of course, it is as simple as any other thing. The first instruction enters into the fetch phase, rather, stage 1. Second instruction will wait. The first instruction jumps into the stage 2. Second instruction will enter into stage 1. First instruction enters into stage 3. Second instruction enters into stage 2. Third instruction enters into stage 1. First instruction enters into stage 4. Second instruction enters into stage 3. Third instruction enters into stage 2. Fourth instruction enters into stage 1. So here, with only a gap of 1 clock cycle, each and every instruction is entering into the pipe, right? Unlike the non-pipeline system. Now here, number of segments k is equal to 4. That means that we can achieve the speed up. We can achieve a maximum speed up of 4. Okay. Now, try to understand here something which is very important to understand. When I told you that when we have more number of segments, speed up can be more. Obviously, everybody is encouraged to design their pipeline system with more number of segments because they see that they can achieve a maximum speed up. But here, of course, the number of segments are equal to 4. Is it really possible to achieve this speed up? There is a limitation. Now, as we have discussed so far, like whenever we have the number of segments, the speed up can be equal to the number of segments. But it is not that simple. The maximum speed up that you can gain is 4. Okay. But there are several difficulties in the pipeline. It is not that simple to achieve the speed up. There are several difficulties in the pipeline which affects your speed up. So far, we did not discuss about any difficulty whatsoever. But there are many difficulties over a conventional non-pipeline system. Non-pipeline system is a traditional system in which, because as there are no segments, there won't be any difficulties at all. But when you take a pipeline system and you segmentize a non-pipeline system, what will happen? It is going to impose a few hazards. It is going to impose a few hazards. Okay. Hazard is nothing but a difficulty. Difficulty in the pipeline. When there is a difficulty in the pipeline, then there will be stalls in the pipeline. I will explain the term stalls. When there is stall, simple. Speed up will get reduced. It will affect the factor speed up. After all, we are designing the pipeline to increase the speed up only. If the speed up gets affected, there is no point in designing the pipeline. So first of all, we need to understand how these difficulties will be handled in a better way. Whenever we get a difficulty or a hazard, whatever you call, we experience stall. I will explain once again what is a stall. When there is a stall, speed up will eventually get affected. Sometimes, if you can't handle these difficulties properly, rather than increasing the speed up will get reduced when you compare it with the corresponding non-pipeline system, which is a biggest problem in the world, because if the speed up is reduced when you compare your system with the corresponding non-pipeline system, there is no point in designing the pipeline at all. Better you stick with non-pipeline system. Okay, so we need to understand the term hazards. Now understand what is a stall. Okay, now let us understand this is a queue. When first guy goes into the second stage, second guy can enter into first stage, right? Okay, during this pipeline, of course, the people should move on. When one guy moves into the next stage, following guy should enter into this stage. Okay, the following stage. But here let us understand there is a stoppage. In some stage, one guy feels a difficulty. Okay, in some stage, one guy feels a difficulty. This guy will not move to the next stage. The moment this guy will not move to the next stage, next guy cannot enter into this stage. Okay, here this is a stall. That means that one guy experienced a difficulty. Unless the difficulty is resolved, he can't enter into the next stage. Which means that eventually all the instructions are affected. There is a stall created. Stall meaning it's a rigid stature. No instruction will be able to move further. Okay, so stall. Hazard will lead to stall. Stall will affect the speed up. Okay, so we need to handle the hazards in a better way that the stalls are reduced. Stalls are handled. Difficulties are handled so that the speed up can be maximized to the extent that we can. Okay, so first of all, if you want to reduce the difficulties, if you want to handle the difficulties, you should be able to understand the hazards, what kind of a difficulties that we can face in the pipeline system. Before you design the pipeline system itself, you need to have a complete idea what kind of a difficulties we may get in the pipeline system. Okay, so we are going to understand all these difficulties now.